Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Stranded. I hope you're having a great day. I am finally back from my vacation. I've actually been back for a week, and I've been trying to get time, and there just isn't any to record videos. My daughter is a handful, man, and we're trying to avoid paying for daycare because it's like $2,400 a month, and even more expensive if we get a babysitter to come to the house. Children are not cheap, okay? And so we're trying to avoid that by basically just having me watch my daughter all the time. And so with me watching my daughter all the time, it leaves very limited time to create videos. So 2023, it was going to be a year with all sorts of wonderful game releases and a very active year for us. It was going to be. Now, not so much. It's going to be very difficult to get videos out for the remainder of this year, but I hope you guys are well. I'll do as much as I can. I'll try to find the moments where it's possible, and hopefully we'll have some really fun experiences. While I've been away, this game was updated, and there's now a new button down here called ranching. Currently, it just has the drying rack on it right now, but if you come over to manage and go to, this window already has tamed animals. Yes, you can tame animals, raise them, I assume get resources from them. We're going to check that out as we can. So we're going to go to research, and it's in the other section. And there's now actually a couple of things in here. There's animal taming. There's also flare shielding, which I thought was interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go flare shielding and then animal taming like this. And so now we're going to have animal taming be at the 6-hour mark. It's only going to take 6 hours for this. And then flare shielding, which is kind of cool. We're going to have basically the ability to shield ourselves from the solar flares. I think, yeah, solar flares increase the power consumption of devices that have built-in CPUs by 50% instead of disabling them. So it'll actually turn solar flares to our advantage, which is kind of nice if we can build it. The biggest thing I'm having an issue with, and this is going to get worked out because, like, you can see, like, a lot of stuff's rotting away. Once it rots away, though, we're not going to have a huge problem with it because I've severely, like, I had this whole thing going with nothing but grain, and now my grain farm is a lot smaller, so we shouldn't have a problem with grain going forward. We shouldn't have nearly as many things rotting away. As far as I'm aware, the animals are still bugged, so they've all walked away from the camp. And now they're going to just burrow into the ground, I think, here. And that's going to be how we're handling these Junos. So they're going to eventually just go away and not attack us, at least this time. Now, maybe the next time they spawn, that'll be different. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll find out then. If it spawns again, we'll find out. Before I keep going, somebody mentioned a comment. And I can't believe only one person, as far as I could tell anyway, only one person's mentioned this. All of my air conditioners, up until this point, have actually been installed backwards. So the red arrow, because it was red, I thought maybe that was like the direction the heat went. I don't know. My brain's just doing weird things. Maybe I'm just an idiot. In any case, all of these were actually installed backwards. They were kicking heat into the rooms instead of the cold air, which actually turned out to be a good thing, because if I let this run a little while longer, we're going to start seeing people getting hypothermia. And that's because it's actually cold outside. And so with it being cold outside, these things are going to start blowing cold air inside too. That's no good. So I'm actually going to go ahead and turn off all the air conditioners. Hans got hypothermia, and that's just going to get worse as we go. So we're going to go over to activities, and let's make sure at least somebody, let's say Talus is a 1, and put Han on a 1 as well. We're at least going to get a couple people on handling at all times. And I think before you equip the pants, I'm going to have you go in and just turn off these 2 air conditioners. And Talus, I'm going to have you go ahead and turn off that air conditioner as well. So we've got, our defenses are pretty damn good. Like, I don't need to do anything with defenses at the moment, but there has been one good idea that I didn't think of, which is actually a pretty good idea. So I'm open to ideas. You guys have great ideas. It's great. What we're going to eventually have here is we're going to go to housing. I'm going to go to floor. We can go stone, we can go concrete. I don't think it really matters. Maybe we'll just go scrap metal just because it will look cool. And what we're going to do here is we're going to set this up to where it's kind of elevated. So something like this instead. And we'll set it back, say a little bit closer. Because it's elevated, we could probably go a little bit closer. And we're just going to make an elevated platform. Let's say about like this to start. Although I might want it bigger just in case we get more of these guns. So why don't we go about, let's say 1, 2, 3, we'll go like this. So we're gonna make a platform here, and then behind it, we'll put in the stairs about like this. And what I'm gonna do instead is we're gonna place these guns on top of the platform. That's gonna allow them to shoot over top of this fence a little bit better. We can get them a little bit closer, give them a little bit better range. They can start shooting these guys. Granted, it is a small fence, but they're gonna start shooting them well before they get here, which is a good idea. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the weather. Seems like a storm is here. I'm gonna speed up time really quick, see if I can get around it. As far as power goes, it looks like we're almost full. Got a huge surplus, so I can have them actually turn that off as well. During the day especially, we get a big surplus. Also, somebody mentioned in the comments also that you can now hear the hand pan when they play it. I'm not sure if you have to deactivate the music in the game. The ambience is really loud, though. We're going to turn that off, too. Let's just see. There it is. You can now hear it. I mean, it's certainly not matching his hands, but yeah. And the didgeridoo works the same way. You can hear that thing, too, when they play it. So we'll probably get one of those, too, if I can. What else did I want to cover? I don't think there was anything else I really needed to cover. Life-threatening hypothermia for Han. Now, it's 26 outside. I mean, life-threatening that's a bit dramatic, okay? You're being a bit of a drama queen here, all right? So, health is 160. Temperature is 91.3. Yeah, because his body temperature is dropping because of the extreme hypothermia. I am wondering, though, as it gets to be daytime now, it's going to get warmer outside, and this should take care of itself, especially with all of these currently off. But yeah, we were making it warm inside before. Now we're making it cold inside. And so what we need to really regulate is a couple of things. I think we need to have a heater in here as well. And we could have the heater just, pumping out heat, of course, into the rooms. And I could probably, set this over in a corner or something back here. But I think the other thing that's really necessary is we need to get the thermostat. It'll activate when a temperature is below a given threshold. So I'm thinking like the thermostat hooked up to the heater means it gets below a certain threshold, the heater kicks on. I don't exactly know how to get the air conditioner, because it says maintains room temperature to desired level, but I got this set to 71. Yeah, as the target temperature. I do 72, I guess, but it doesn't. It was still operating, right? Even with it being well below this, it would still turn on. It would still stay operational. I'm not entirely sure those are hooked up correctly, or maybe I have to put them on a circuit with a thermostat. I'm not sure, but I have I can make this. I just don't have any CPU cores, and that's another reason why I don't have like a whole lot for like the switches and stuff. People are mentioning like I could have the low power. Where is it? Low battery sensor, right? You should hook up the battery sensor so you can hook up. I know, I'm aware of that, but CPU cores are, not here. I don't have one, so I can't build it. I'd love to just, smack it in here, and I will eventually, but I don't have the CPU cores. So I need to be able to build CPU cores, and that's right here, CPU assembly. I don't have the research for that yet. So I'm making do with what I have until I can have more, right? That's bottom line on that, all right? Han, are you it's 51 degrees. Han, I'm going to draft you. I want you to just stand outside for a bit. All right? Because it's, it's obviously really chilly in here, and maybe we'll go ahead and open this window. Just trying to get that temperature to be a bit more reasonable. If I just had Han stand outside for a bit and do nothing, I mean, it's 58. He should be getting over that hypothermia pretty quick. We'll just, you know, make him stand in the sun. I'm sure that's, you know, not going to be bad for him at all. Man, I got so sunburned. Oh, man. Yeah, now he's got severe. So it's going to start getting better. And inside will get warmer, too. Okay, you can be undrafted now. Very good. Yeah, so we'll get that done. So animal taming is done, all right? And so I'm going to read this because this is all brand new stuff. So animal taming says, with the proper treat, most animals can be tamed. Tamed animals would require food, medicines, maybe even a place to sleep. Some can have babies. Others would be ideal for camp protection, and we'll be happy to have them all for camp protection. So, you know, predators, taming the predators would be a great thing. Those, you know, where are those little raptor-looking dudes? You know, those ones that look like, yeah, these guys right here. The Tecatli. I'd like to tame these guys for camp defense. You know, just we'll sick them on the bugs as they come in. Now, obviously, they're not going to survive well, but we'll do it anyway because, you know, might as well. I mean, it's better than hunting them, and then we'll just eat everything that dies. But for animals, I kind of like to have a dedicated animal area. And we've already got this closed off with a high fence. So animals, you know, the attackers really shouldn't be coming to this side. Like they can, but even though it's a longer distance, it really is better for them to walk all the way around to come to this side because it's easier to enter. And so I don't want to disrupt yet. Eventually we'll move this, but I don't want to disrupt yet my kill zone because it's kind of already set up and everything. So I'm going to leave the kill zone the way it is for now, but I'd like to get, if I go in maybe to, is it defense? I got to relearn where everything is. It's been a while. For you, I don't know how long it's been for you guys when I record this, but I think it's been like 2 weeks for you guys for a new video. It's been almost 2 whole months for me since I've played a single, like since I've recorded a video anyway. I have been dinking around with Stellaris on my laptop while I was gone. I'm pretty, you know, very limited in the amount of time I have, but I have been dinking around with Stellaris while I've been away. So I don't want to block this because I want the creatures to have to come in this way, at least for now. So what I could do just to get a place to raise animals for now, I think we could just kind of go maybe, I want to really, just want like a little animal pen. Like a small little pen for now would be fine. So what if I just kind of maybe go, start right here in the middle of the square. Can I start here? Nope. Yeah, this is like a wooden fence. And it looks like it's going to be in the middle of the square, yeah. So we'll start it like maybe like right here. And we'll just have it go all the way over to this side. That's fine. And then we'll cut like that. And then we'll cut like that. And then all the way to the edge, I guess like that. Okay? And so this will be a new fence that we're going to put in. And we'll have, you know, all of our crops and stuff are going to be then closed off from the attackers, so we can go ahead and harvest this stuff without a whole lot of risk in that regard. And then we can have our animals, you know, they could be trapped in here and safe in here and maybe munch on our crops and stuff as we grow them and stuff, because we don't need this many crops anyway. So that's the plan for now, I suppose. And we'll see how well that goes. I don't remember if there's any expeditions available, at least not anything that's, you know, urgent or anything. I don't believe so. Travel time's 4 hours, 9 hours. We can only visit 2 more times. Yeah, not a whole lot. But these wrecks, like the spaceship debris and stuff, we might be able to find CPU cores with those. So we probably should get this refueled. And that requires us to create fuel. I'm actually trying to get it reacquainted with the base a little bit here. I do know I'm making an extra fridge, which is a big thing. We've already delivered all the alloys, so it's just the electronics at this point. And Jack's going about making, you know, tailoring and everything. I think I'm going to swap him really quick to crafting fuel. He still has to go all the way over here to get that ingredient. We probably should get that supply of stuff, that vegetable oil stuff. We probably should get that supplied over in here, so it's a little bit faster to access. Probably maybe even in here it should be a little bit faster to access. So I'll probably have to go through all of these and do the allows, disallows for a little while, just to kind of make sure that people are putting this stuff where it's supposed to go. I'm actually not sure if there is a prioritization function here. It doesn't appear as though there is. It's more like a... Yeah, it's more like just allowed or not allowed. There's no priority. One thing I really liked about Rimworld, right, was that I could say, put it here as priority 1, and then, you know, over here is priority 2. So they'd always do this until it fills it up and then move it over here. I don't see that for these shelves and things in the game, so that would be a very useful thing. I thought there was anyway that existing for the stockpiles, but that doesn't seem to be true either. All right, we have more aggressive animals, and they are spawning. They're on the other side of the cliffs. And they're way over here. Well, we'll see if they attack. We have the Junos to fight, as well as a bunch of these manhunting glutches. And then, of course, oh my god, 50 of these Scarabaei. Okay, so there's a whole bunch. 52 Scarabaei, and then Junos and manhunting glutches. So we'll see if the pathing is fixed for this stuff. But I think now would be an okay time to move this stuff up to the top here. So we can move this to the top there like that. I think I'll leave a gap here. I don't know if they can actually attack it from the ground. I think they maybe can, but if I put it back here, maybe they won't be able to. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll put it right there. And then the other one, we'll move it to be there instead. And then I want to wake Jack up. Han's already awake. We'll do it with Han. So tell Han to move this stuff. Now, we may need to move the electrical poles as well. But I think I'm able to do that because this pole here. So I could just move this pole over and it will connect from this side instead. Yeah, unpowered. So we'll have to move this pole as well. And we can just stick it, I think, right over here, near the stairs like that. That should allow us to connect it just fine. So we'll move the wooden power pole as well. It says we have a shooting star. A meteor with a long tail, a long trail, blazed in the sky and fell not too far from the camp. It could be a small piece of debris or a genuine meteorite. Well, it's not a comet. Fun fact about comets that I think maybe some of you already knew, but I actually didn't know this, but I learned it, all right? Comets, you know, they have that tail, right? But the tail isn't necessarily behind the comet, if you will, from it relative to its trajectory. The tail is not actually behind it. Instead, the tail is on the opposite side of the star for which the comet is near. So in other words, think of it like wind and smoke, and you have a ton of wind and it's blowing on an object. It's going to blow the smoke, you know, in the opposite direction of which the wind is coming from. You could think of that same type of force coming from the sun or from the star. It's blowing the debris away from that. So the comet could very well, if it's traveling away from the star, the tail of the comet is actually in front of it relative to its travel. I thought that was very interesting. So when I learned it, so I thought I would share that with you. So these say they are the activated circuit. We will go ahead and flip that to none. We're going to eventually get circuits that do this, right? It's just a matter of getting them to be online. We don't have it online yet, so. All right, so both of these are online now. We're ready to rock. Defenses are in position. I don't know if we're going to need to get people out with the guns, because we do have the Junos and stuff. So we'll see if we have to actually do anything there. And then the rain, yeah, decreased happiness, et cetera, I know. So what I want to do now, at least until they start attacking, which is going to be probably pretty soon, is I'd like to just make sure that my traps are all set. Looks pretty good. So we had some other people with ideas on these, you know, setting them to be in different positions so that, you know, they didn't have to get in here and then set the traps and get burned and all that stuff too. I'm open to moving these. I just haven't, you know, they're not set in stone or anything. I just kind of put them in there because it was adequate defense. And so far, anyway, it is working out pretty well, at least so far. All right, so the animal attack's going to start now. I don't think repairing the wall lamp is particularly important, but since it's going to take them a while to get here, I'm just going to trigger it now. And again, I want to see if their pathing is fixed here. So real quick, let me turn the music back on because I noticed that we don't have any sound, and that's because I wanted to hear the hand pan. But you know, the music does actually present a bit of excitement. So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and do this. So the bugs initially go this way. Just want to make sure after the update that they can't get through this gap, because they seem to think they can until they get there, and then they're confused. The rest of these guys are going to go around, and again, we have to see whether or not the Junos are going to get stuck here again, or if they're going to travel all the way around like the bugs do. And it looks to me that the Juno is going for that gap right here. So there just might be something about this map tile that's going to cause this to not be difficult gameplay because of pathing issues. I know I did say, and it's kind of weird how people pick these things apart. It's like you're not really getting how I speak or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm not speaking in a way you understand. But I'm only thinking my thoughts out loud. I'm not actually saying I'm going to do something, right? So like we could build things out in these areas to maybe prevent them from spawning there. That was an idea, but it's not going to work. And I have tried that offline. It's not going to work. What will happen is they'll spawn a little bit farther away from what happens, but then they're going to just go ahead and attack it anyway, and then they're there. So they end up attacking the base like right away. Whatever I end up building, they'll attack that. Another idea, though, that I haven't actually tried, that I could try, is setting plots here, like farming plots, and then not planting them, right? So, and this is a little bit difficult to do because if I set these guys on farming, of course, they'll prioritize farming. But the idea here, and I'm going to do this now just to see if it does make a difference this time, is we'll go ahead and put a field right here, okay? And we're going to tell them to not harvest and not plant that crop, okay? And then we'll go ahead and do the same thing, just grain grass is fine. We'll go ahead and put another one maybe over on this side, maybe here, right? And we'll again say plant and harvest. So they hopefully won't work it, right? This is kind of like one of those ideas that I kind of said out loud that I hadn't tried not designating fields or anything. So I'm going to try to do another one over here, do the same thing. What I'm trying to do by doing this is I'm going to place a whole bunch of these farming plots in hopes that I can like basically talk the game into spawning the enemies on this side of the canyon, right? I want the enemies to spawn over here. That way, at least I get a chance to fight them. Because otherwise, it gets too easy. And that's pretty much what we're at right now is I don't even need to sound the alarm for these guys. In fact, I bet half the bugs only will make it here because as the bugs travel this direction, they're probably going to run into other forms of wildlife like these guys, and then they will end up fighting them and getting themselves dead in that way. They'll end up hunting basically the other animals instead, fighting, and then half of them will die. We'll see if the glutches pay better attention, but the Junos are definitely just gonna do nothing. They're just gonna chill. So we'll see if the glutches... It is just interesting to me that the little creatures, the bugs, they know right where to go. Their pathing is fine. They know exactly where to go, but the other ones don't, you know? That is still very strange to me. All right, well, we'll stop, diving in too much on that. Talus, I'm going to go ahead and draft you, bring you back here, just so you're not in danger by being out here. We have 22 unpowered devices. That's no good. Because it's raining. Let's go ahead and turn on the Talus. Let's go ahead and turn on this generator real quick. We have a deficit, and we need to fix that deficit. There we go. We don't quite have the solar panels up yet. I would like to get those guys. Let's draft you guys, bring you back here. And then there's spots. The reason why I kind of made this with extra space, right, is now there's spots for our dudes with guns and stuff to stand on the top. I don't believe I need them to actually fight. So for now, I've got Jack with a bow. Somebody else brought a comment up in a previous video where it's like, hey, Jack is practicing with the rifle on these targets, and it's causing, the rifle to deteriorate too. So he shouldn't have that unless he needs it, because it's a good rifle. And I totally agree. That's a good thing to keep in mind, I guess. In fact, I think, Jack, what we can do with you instead is just have you continue constructing. and just, you know, complete this thing. Laura, let's get you back. I really do wish I could have like a forbidden area where I could mark, you know, this little section and say you guys are forbidden from crossing into that area. I really kind of wish that was a thing, but it doesn't look like it's ever going to be. Jack, let's have you draft. Have you stand up here. Laura, go ahead and stand up here. So for now, if you're up here, you can you know, shoot from here, and then I think somebody else has a gun. It is pulse rifle. This is the stunning gun though. I want the damaging gun. You, Rita. So Rita, you don't have a whole lot of great clothes, but I could have you actually climb up and be inside that tower instead, and you know, you can help defend here as well. I do want to see if these, you know, start to shoot a little earlier. They could be closer, but they're definitely gonna, I think, shoot a little earlier. I guess Rita's got such a good shot we won't get to see it yet, but eventually we will, I think. The guns do seem like they're about to react, and then they don't get to shoot. So here we go. Real quick, checking power. Looks good. Now they're still gonna only shoot. And they're still only shooting once they. Well, there they go. Yeah. They did start shooting over here a little bit. I guess it's a little bit closer. This fence is already low. Excuse me, Han. Don't be an idiot. Okay. Don't be an idiot. Come on. The fence is already low. It's not like a full-on fence, so the fact that they can see over it, I think, was already a thing. But this time, at least, they're a little bit closer to it. How about the big glutches? Are they coming or no? No, they are trapped as well. Bummer. Well, you got unlucky on the map tile then, so yeah, that might end the playthrough early. I don't want it to be like one of these, you know, games where everything is just super easy, which is what this is. This is all super easy now. Because super easy, you know, it's great from, you know, some people like it when they're playing games that way. Wait, you trapped? Or, oh, one of the creatures got caught in the trap. I see. Where are you guys going? Where are you going? I don't get it. Are you... Well, you're definitely not attacking me. You're retreating. I think you're just running away. That's dark, isn't it? All right, we got unpowered devices again. So I think we can undraft people now. It looks like they are beginning to run away. So we'll just I do want to make sure that they're not gonna, you know, leave. We definitely don't want to have the guns unpowered. I think I'll just go ahead real quick and turn off this gun and see if the other one can turn on with this one off. Then maybe we can have you repair it. Although Han's gonna have a meltdown soon, so I think maybe never mind on that. Go ahead and do whatever you want. So like I said, this year is gonna be a kind of a hard year with schedule-wise and stuff. It's just because I have to. I'm the primary caregiver for my daughter. My wife makes more money than I do for her job, so it's more important that she work and keep her job and everything. So I am, you know, as somebody who is self-employed, I'm not exactly going to get fired for the things I do. I just simply won't make hardly any money, and that's just the way it'll go. But I think saving, you know, $27,000 in a year is worth, like, I can save that money. I think it's a great thing. So in other words, content's going to be a lot slower this year. What I'm thinking of doing is probably doing what a lot of other channels do and not doing full playthroughs on games this year, but instead just making like the episode 1, I guess, of many different games, right? Showcasing a lot of new games, introducing you guys to new games, and you know, just kind of having like a one video to show you what it is and then moving on, and then the next video is a different game, etc. There's a lot of different creators that do it that way. They seem to be pretty successful at it, and it would give me an opportunity to experience a diverse range of stuff and also introduce you guys to brand new things instead of, as you guys may have noticed, I don't know, maybe not, episode 1 of a playthrough is almost always significantly more popular than subsequent episodes after, right? The longer you play the game, the less views each of your videos get. And that's just because of viewer fatigue. You know, people have seen enough. They don't need to see any more on the game, or the game gets boring for them over time, or my playthrough of the game gets boring for them over time, right? But episode 1 is always that peak curiosity. It's always that, what is this? How does it work? It's an introduction to things, right? It's like season 1 of a television show. With a few of good exceptions, season 1 is usually the best season, right? So that's just, or movie 1 or whatever, right, is usually the best one. So it's one of those things. So I might incorporate that style this year. It gives me a chance to go through this huge backlog of games that I have. And then if I'm going to be doing any playthroughs, which I do plan on doing some playthroughs this year, I may end up doing them as live streams instead. And it would be like, you know, at night. And instead of in the middle of the day, it can only stream at night for me now. So we're talking like 8 p.m. Eastern time, that kinds of thing. And that'll be what we ultimately do with like full playthroughs and stuff. Will kind of have to be that, unfortunately. Speaking of which, if any of you are by any chance looking forward to Kerbal Space Program, I think that's ultimately what's going to happen this year with Kerbal too. Because when it hits early access, Kerbal Space Program is not going to have all of its features. Like, there's still a lot that has to be added after it hits early access. And I think I'd rather do like the full experimentation to the whole thing and really do a proper playthrough of it after it has more of its features, all the planets, etc. And so I may actually just end up streaming that and, you know, making myself familiar with it and taking people along a journey with what's there and what's available in early access. But I might end up doing that as a live stream instead. And then doing the proper full playthrough later, maybe late in this year or early next year when I have more time to dedicate to it, as well as when the game itself has more content. I'm trying to figure out who has the old equipment. I guess it's probably everybody at this rate. You know, there's an old shirt, old shoes. Yeah, we just need a lot more clothing. Han doesn't even have a jacket anymore. I mean, like, Jack is constantly tailoring, but it's almost like we need more tailors. I know Simon is kind of prioritizing research, and generally I think that's a good thing. With the flare shielding, I think that's going to be a great thing. So let's just speed up really quick to get flare shielding done. That's good. And then what we could probably do then is switch Simon to crafting as, I think, tailoring actually is a bigger task than research is. So I'll have you do tailoring as a 1 here instead, and maybe crafting as 1, just so we can get extra stuff going. So Simon, I'd like you to go ahead and create more fuel if you can, please. That should get you going on crafting as your primary. And then we actually don't have the balloon fully fueled yet, so no trips to the ship yet, but we might be able to get CPU cores there, which is good. And then, of course, we obviously have to make more electronics so that we can better leverage solar power as well. And I think that's going to be something that Jack's going to have to do. I believe this is a crafting task. It's obviously not tailoring, so I would need Jack's activities to start with crafting instead of tailoring. So I need you to do that instead. And once he has ate his meal, we scavenging instead. Interesting. That's a very interesting choice. I mean, if it gets us anything valuable, then okay, but I think I would rather him... maybe he's not able to craft because there's definitely scrap metal, so it can't be that. We also probably need more sticks. We have a lot of wood, but not a lot of sticks. And I don't really have one of these yet, so I probably should go ahead and do that. I think it's production, chopping block. And we can have a chopping block be just right outside here. So I think we'll do a chopping block like... Yeah, right here is probably good. Or it could be... Yeah, just like right over here is fine. So a little chopping block here. And then they can, you know, create sticks when they need it. Okay, these guys are always cold when they're sleeping. So I'm actually going to intentionally, you know, move this air conditioner and turn it on so that the heat will go inside the room. I'm gonna do that intentionally because they're always cold. So we now have the heat. You can kind of see the, you know, the air, the ripples and stuff through the air here. We're now gonna have heat being pumped inside and the cold being, you know, pumped outside here. And that, I'm hoping that will heat up the bedrooms and stuff, because so far that's a problem. We're just getting everybody numbingly cold every single night. Until I can get the CPUs and thermostats and stuff going for that. That's going to be my solution for now on this. So yeah, as far as this video goes, I wanted to see the animal stuff if we could. So this fence isn't quite ready yet, but if I was to go to ranching, we now have animal shed, animal spots, and large animal spots, and also an animal feeder as well. So I'm going to say the animal shed. We'll just use, I think we'll use sticks. I do have to chop some sticks, but I have some, so I have the task anyway listed, so we'll go ahead and try that. And I think we'll go ahead and maybe have the animal pens be kind of like maybe one here and another one to be like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, probably like this. And then I can flip it over and we can have another one right alongside this fence line here. It can go about like here, and then another one can be right like that. So we have like kind of like a stables sort of environment with this as these go through. Once this fence is totally done, we'll then plop a little door here that they can get through, and they can enter into this area, which is a bit more protected. I may reinforce this fence over time if it becomes a burden. If it looks like the critters and stuff are starting to get in, we might adjust that. But for now, that could be where those guys are. And then for the animal feeders, you could just use wooden ones are fine. And for the feeders, let's say we put one, maybe we'll put two, like here, here. I have no idea what we're going to need for this. We probably don't even need this many feeders. I don't think there's any way we need this many feeders. So how about we instead, we'll just cancel the constructions on those and on these. And then we'll have 4 feeders. They're kind of in the middle where everybody's going to walk through. And then all of this stuff is probably going to be useful for animal feed. And if it isn't like the right crops for that, we can always rotate them out maybe. We also have obviously all of this stuff here, including the blade grass, which is no doubt going to be useful for I would think grass type stuff would be useful for livestock. So it's right next to the animal pens. You can just go right through there, which is fine. We have lots of farming still to go. These fields are actually no longer marked as fields, so now the grain is only here rather than being this entire area. Same thing with the glitter caps. We have way too many of them, so now it's just this small bit. And then for this area, we'll turn it into a solar farm probably here. We'll start getting these. Of course, I need electronics to actually, build these. But yeah, in fact, I might just go ahead and disable construction on that for now, just to make sure that the electronics all go into one place. And then the electronics have to go into this as well. But I think this probably should not be constructed until the solar's up, because this is going to draw more power. It's going to pull more power. And we only got 2 days left on this power cell. I'm not sure if we have any more power cells. We have one more left in storage. So it is going to become pretty important. Not during the day, I guess. It's I guess actually this is fine. Let's have you handle this really quick, and you can go back and do what you were doing, because we're already plus 70 during the day actually here. Plenty of wind. There's this one solar panel. And with these two things off, we actually can sustain ourselves pretty well during the day without having to use that power cell. So for now, I do have to micromanage it. Until I can get the CPU cores, I do have to micromanage it just a little bit. And I think the CPU cores will be easier to get if I can get so spaceship debris. You can only go there 2 more times. I believe this is a physical skill. So basically anyone with a high physical skill will be able to bring more stuff back. And I think I can send let's send Lara off to get it. She'll hopefully bring back some CPU cores, but I'd really like to see. We're almost to the point where we won't need to see grain's about to rot away. There's thousands of grain that's rotting away, and I'm again completely content with that. We have too much of it anyway. We don't need to grow this much, so let it rot away. I'm all right with that. We have plenty on the shelves here that we could use. The double kitchen is great. Somebody was mentioning also that somebody was cooking and they're indifferent to cooking. I wasn't aware that indifferent meant unhappy doing it. I got to figure out where the hell it is. Where is it actually? Where'd it go? Wow. It's like blind or something. Okay, so I wasn't aware that indifferent meant that they would be unhappy doing it. I didn't see that. So like he's cooking is indifferent, but he's gaining levels in it just fine. So I do want to check out his mood to see if that happens. So I'm gonna. Well, it looks like I can't actually do it because there's not enough. Yes, grain limits reached and stuff on the grain porridge and everything. We've got tons of food in storage, so yeah, we have enough raw food for 1,311 meals. Fun times. But cooked meals, we have up to 68 of them. Yeah, 55 of those is emergency rations. So looks like we're pretty much exclusively making grain porridge. Pretty much, we're not making the meat stews and everything. Not very often, anyway. Veggie pizza is still a popular thing. We just don't have the resources for everything else. So I could take a look at that for later. But anyway, so yeah, I hope this found you well. I hope this video is you know, not completely boring for you. Welcome back to, or at least welcoming myself back to the United States anyway. It's very slow. Unfortunately, the channel is going to be quite slow compared to what it was last year. I am sorry about that in advance. For those of you guys who are patrons and members, I completely understand if you're gonna drop, if it's not, you know, if you don't find it worth it anymore. I totally get it. No hard feelings. You know, we're gonna have probably less than half the videos this year that we had last year, just because of, you know, the birth of my daughter. It's definitely gonna be a thing. Family comes first and all that, right? But I'll do as much as I can when I can, and I'll try my best to present some interesting games for you this year. We will keep playing this for a few more videos at least. I want to get through some of the technology stuff. Technology stuff, that's how I'm going to say it. Yeah, I want to get through, you know, certain things. Just check out the, you know, the better weapons, and obviously I need to be able to make things with CPU assemblies. I would like to potentially have to fight, you know, the higher tier critters, the higher tier animals and stuff, the insects, whatever. So hopefully they start spawning over here, because we do have the fields and stuff kind of marked over on this side. If I can just get the camera to move. Hi, I do have these fields all placed over here, so I'm hoping that I can get them enticed to spawn somewhere else. And I might actually make these little squares all throughout here too, just to try to, again, entice them or encourage the game to spawn enemies on this side so that we can fight them and see what they're like. I would much rather have this be a cool battle than to have them just all die, or all not even die, just all leave and not even fight me at all. So yeah, we got the animal pens are going to be in. We're going to start taming some animals here too. So we'll look at doing that for the next video as well. We'll have all this stuff ready here, and when we come back for the next one, yeah, definitely going to start targeting animals. Okay, so take it easy, guys. We'll see ya. Bye bye.